Hello again and welcome to Kitty Talks Dogs. Today we are going to groom Willemijntje. Willemijntje is a Kaninchen Dachshund and she has 10 on 10 for cuteness. My name is Kitty Dekeersgieter. I live in Belgium. I've been grooming since 1985. I have a lot of experience. I had my own salon a long time ago and I never claimed to be the best groomer. And I hope that this video or my videos on the YouTube channel Kitty Talk Dogs help you to groom. This video is divided in different chapters. The only thing you need to do is scroll down below and there you can click on the chapter that interests you. We've made a blog from all the products used in this video. So if you are interested in any of the products, also just scroll down below and you will find a link there. If you click on the link, you will go immediately to our website where you can buy the products. So this is Willemijntje van de Valkenshoeve. She's a Kaninchen Dachshund, wire hair, and she's born in March 23. She's a very beautiful little dog. She does shows. So Willemijntje lives with many other dogs. They have 3 Dachshunds, 2 miniature and 1 Kaninchen. And they have 12 horses. And Willemijntje goes out in the prairie like 3 times a day with her sisters. And Willemijntje, her favorite toys are toys where she can bite in them and tug them around. So like the instinct of killing. So that's her favorite. But of course, she goes a lot to walking in the prairie, but also regularly to go walking and running at the seaside. So Willemijntje is a dog who has a very much freedom of walking and running. She's very young and she has done her first dog show and she won the puppy class. That was in Kortrijk in November 2023. Yes. The owner is Katty Knockaert, and Katty Knockaert is also the breeder. Today's video is all about grooming the dachshund, the wire hair, and I'm gonna take off the top layer here at the coat. And let me just speak to you a little bit about the history of the coat. So to have the perfect coat to go to the dog shows, you need to very regularly take off the top layer. And every time you take off the top layer, you are actually creating another hair underneath. And by regularly taking every time the top layer out, you will create a very natural wire coat, and it's never going to be very long and very short or nude, and it's going to be like very natural all the time. To do this, you need to like go over the dog like every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, and that way you will have a very natural look. And it will never be very long or very short. Yes. Many dogs that have, if you have a dachshund as a pet, you can have it groomed like every 2 or every 3 months. But by doing that, you will have like the situation when the groomer grooms the dog that it will have a very short coat and then the hair will grow back. And it's only going to be all the same length. There's not going to be many layers. And you can also wait for 6 months or 4 months to be groomed. But when you do that, as a result, you will take the top layer off and there will be nothing underneath. And in many cases, you will see the skin a bit underneath. Hey, what's wrong? Yes? Why are you squeaking? Yes, why are you squeaking? So this is a small selection of products that we are going to use today. And we've chosen these products for a specific reason. We've chosen the Sentinel stripping knives, although mostly we are going to strip by hand, but if we need a stripping knives, we've chosen the Sentinel stripping knife because we don't want to hurt the coat, or we want fully stripping and not breaking of the coat. And the Sentinel is a very high-end, very handmade tool, which is wonderful for show dogs. And after the groom, we are going to wash Willemijntje with the Sentinel shampoo, because this shampoo is special for terriers. We've also chosen to use the Showtech Comfy Stripping Stick, because this is a very good tool with two ends, one for very detailed work and one with a more wider for like the big jobs, because also this is very safe in pulling out all the hairs and not breaking them. So as you can see, Willemijn has quite a few bits of hair in the ear, and it's very long. So we will use the finger condoms, because the finger condoms are, first of all, very clean to use, and because the finger condoms are latex, you can have very much grip. And we are going to use the powder. So I'm going to use the powder around the ears first, and just by tapping it, I'm going to have the powder go around the ear. Voila. 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 And now we're going to do little bits at a time. So we're going to take points, like, look. So really little bits at a time. And this is going to be like taking a while. So it's no use you do a long pull. I take a bit and like pull it quite quickly. Set up. I think Willemijn didn't have this done yet, so it's her first time. And she's trying to push me away with her little cute feet. I'm trying to do bits at the time, so I don't need to pull a lot. So when I have the hairs, I'm just pulling quickly, but it is a bit sensitive. Okay. And then for the hairs really inside, I like to have the safety ear forceps. And now if she stands still a bit, I can go really deep with this rounded, it's like a thick rounded tip, and it makes it more safe to go deep inside and to pull out the hairs which are not reachable with our thick fingers. So I like to hold the ear upwards and then go really deep inside to take out all the other hairs. So here you see me putting the powder in the ear and around the ear, because also these hairs need to come out. So now I'm gently going to pluck out. I don't need to have a lot. Also the outside here. And now here again, you see me holding up the ear so it's like stretched upwards, and that is making I can go down with my pincet without hurting. So here you see me stretching out and going deep with the small hairs deep down below. Next step, cleaning the pincet. So just drip on with the ear cleaner and clean out with a toothbrush or another brush. Voila. And now drying. And now it's ready for next use. So here you see me using the ear care product. It's Willemijntje's first time. The ear care product is very cold, so it's not so easy. And here I'm trying to show that you can actually fill up the ear with the ear care. It's a very special product. It will go deep inside and it will dissolve all the dirt and the wax. And then you can just massage the ear. And here you see me using the ear as a funnel, and I'm just letting the liquid go into the ear, and automatically it's gonna drop into the ear. So here as well, I'm trying to fill up the ear with the product. So then it's gonna be like deep from inside out, all the dirt is gonna dissolve. And it must be a strange feeling because it is cold and wet. And so now I'm gonna like deep down, give it a gentle massage. And it's important to wait 30 seconds for the product to do its work. The active ingredient are gonna dissolve all the dirt and the wax. Give it a small massage. And also with the warmth of the body, the heat is going to like help everything go quickly and dissolve quickly. For really cleaning out the ears so they're perfect, I love to use the Showtech bamboo cotton buds. They have a big area and a small area, and what I like to do is just make them, just wet them so they're nice and soft and wet and they absorb all the extra dirt. And what I like to do is like lift the ear and like pull the skin a bit upwards if he lets me. Yes, yes. You little rascal. Come here. Where are you going? Yes. Okay. That's okay. And as you can see, it wasn't very dirty at all. And then for the tiny little pieces where you can't reach, this is special to go in here, to go in between these little corners here. Voila. Good girl. I like to use the ear wipes for the outside ear flap. So just open, take a piece, close it well, and now I can like divide it a few times, and I like really that for gently cleaning the outside flap. Or is it the inside flap? Okay, other side. Smells like baby. It's perfect. Voila. So for clipping the nails, you need to use the stop bleed. And for me, it's very important that the stop bleed is well, the stop bleed holder needs to be really very full. So I like push it down and compress it so it's totally filled up, and then it's ready for use. So for clipping nails, I need to have a few products with me. Always have this very close in my hands, like a tissue, and the stop bleed and the clipper. Before we go any further, I would like to show you some drawings, and I would also like to explain to you a couple of things about dog nails. First of all, with the drawings, I will show you how to go from overgrown dog nails, which are very long, to the short dog nail. And second of all, for me, it's very important to understand if your dog's nails are too long, it's very, very, very uncomfortable. Imagine you have to walk on your heels, not on your foot, on the bottom of your feet, but you have to walk on your heels because your nails are too long. Well, if your dog's nails are too long, that's exactly what the dogs have to do, and that's really very uncomfortable. So if your dog has too long nails, it's very important to have them short, clipped. So first of all, the drawing here, you see the dog nail. This is the quick. This is the part which will bleed if you go too short. And this is the pad and the cutting angle. This is the cutting angle. Normally, the pad has like a flat area where the dogs walk on the floor all the time. And if you follow this flat area all the way through and you clip off the nail, you won't go too short. And here I will show you. So now this is the area, and here just follow that area and you won't be scissoring in the quick. Now, as you can see, it's now clipped, but very sharp. And the next tool, like the nail grinder, will show you how to go from the sharp area to the more rounded area. So here you will see how easy it is to go grinding with the Showtech nail grinder. This is again the nail, and this is the quick, and this is how it was before. So we grind all the outside, and again, now the top part, and we will end up with a very rounded nail. And then the next thing, because the tip of the nail is now in contact with air, this part has a soft part, and if we grind regularly, the quick is going to recede and go backwards. And this is what we need to have shorter nails. If we do that regularly, we file, it's going to retract again, and at the end you will have a short nail, and that's just what we need. So here you see the nail, and as you can see, if you I'm going to clip this one first, and I'm going to show you on this. If you draw a flat line on the pad, and you will exactly see how much of the nail I can clip off. So here is continuously of the nail. So if you see on top here, I can here, this part I can clip off. And the other nail is going to be approximately the same. So on this nail, if I do that, I'm going to clip off 3 millimeters. I like to use this guillotine nail clipper from Showtech very much, because to me it's very easy. You can hold it on the flat area of the pad and you can just do this, and every time you do this you can slice off a bit of nail. You can do small parts at a time, and for me it's nice because the guillotine here, the part that cuts the nail off, is extremely sharp. And to me, if you do the nails with a nail clipper, a normal nail clipper, it's two sides who do that, and then the nail is gone. But if you think about it, while it's closing, sometimes it's pushing the nail on two sides, and then it's cutting the nail. And I have the feeling with the guillotine is going like this. So it's sliding, it catches the nail in the circle, and you can slide small parts off with the guillotine. So that's one of the reasons I really like to work with a guillotine. The thing is, you can go very tiny little bits. So if you think you can go a bit further, you like feel the nail getting softer, and you can, like, I would say, slice a bit more of. Voila. What? Oh yeah. So here, as you can see, I can like do little bits at a time, and I can have a look, and where the line is from the pad, and I feel I have a bit to do more, I can just do a bit more. Yeah, that's about it. So now the nails are done with the nail clipper, and now I'm just going to take the guillotine. I'm not going to use the cap. The cap is a very good cap for using when you have long hair to avoid, because this part is turning, and the cap avoids the long hair turning with the nail grinder. And because Willemijntje doesn't really have such long hair, I'm going to use the nail grinder without the cap. It's also her first. It's also her first time, so she might be a bit spooky with the nail grinder. So I'm not going to push the nail grinder on the nail too hard. I'm like just holding the nail grinder and seeing what Willemijntje is doing. As you can see, the first part is I'm going to put my thumb on my skin, and I'm just going to use my thumb like as a pivot, and I'm just going to go around the nail. And actually, I'm not really working now, and I don't want to push Willemijntje too much. I'm just like getting her used to the nail grinder. So now I really need to take my time. I'm not going to give Willemijntje lots of attention, because otherwise I'm going to stand here for hours. She needs to understand that it's not hurting, and she also needs to understand that I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. She just needs to give in, and she needs to get used to the nail grinder. It's possible she starts crying, but I'm like very calm. I'm just gonna carry on with what I'm doing. Of course, a dachshund can be quite stubborn to teach them to get used to something, and they can try to start crying or even biting. And my thing is, I'm not gonna like push her too much, but I'm also not gonna give her lots of attention around it. Everything is normal. I'm not going to start fighting. Just keep calm and just do your thing. And the dog will get used to it, won't you? Yes, of course. Doesn't like it very much. The thing is, using a nail grinder is perfect, because you can do it daily, you can do it weekly, you can do it every 2 weeks, and every time you do it, you can go really close, because you can actually file the nails short, and many show dogs do that. Of course, Willemijntje is not used to this kind of tool and this kind of noise, so I'm not going to overdo it for her first time, as long as she has the experience. And now she's like trying to get out of it. She won't have her way though. I'm just going to carry on. Oh, she's okay. I like to do the sides, the bottom, the side again, and then like go all around, so it's round and it's not sharp anymore, and I'm at ease then. So from the bottom to the top. No, don't bite me. Voila. It's okay. No. Normally it's easier to do the back legs. But here, as you can see from a distance, I'm going to do it here too, you will see the actual nail like a cloud. That's because the nail grinder is
like going fast, and all the nail is dissolving in powder. And I'm going to be left over with a very smooth nail. Voila. And now the last one. And every nail is going to be like very round and soft. I like to do the bottom first, go around and up and down, and then I do the two sides. One side, up and down, and then the second side, up and down. And then I do that again, and it's all nice and round. Willemijntje doesn't like it very much, she says.
So Willemijntje is not really used to clippers, so I'm using the Laguna. The Laguna is a clipper that comes with one blade, but you can buy like much blades. It has 5 blades. This is the finest blade. If you look at the Laguna blade from close up, you will see that the teeth are very, very narrow and they're very rounded. It means that it's very safe to go in between or on top of the small pads. What I'm going to show you with the clipper here, I'm then going to show you on Willemijntje. So I'm going to just do that. I'm not really going to go in between, but what I am going to do, I'm going to do the pads. And when I come here, I'm not going to follow the pads and stop where I have a line here. No, I'm going to shave. And then I'm going to go here and let go and do that. It means that here it's short, here it's middle long, and it's going to be longer towards the top. I'm going to do that. So actually here, I'm going to like fly, not push against the skin. And it means that when I'm scissoring, I'm not going to have to scissor very much because I've already did my scissoring with my clipper. The clipper, the Laguna clipper, has a turbo button. And to do that, I'm going to use the turbo button. So the blade, the Laguna now is going to run very fast. And as soon as the Laguna comes in contact with hair, it's going to clip the hair off. The thing is, doing that with a clipper is much safer than it is with scissors. With scissors, you have to cut, and they're very sharp blades. But with this clipper, you don't need to do actually very much. You just need to go over the pads. You can't hurt the dog because it's a very safe blade, and it's just a much more fun way of doing this. Here at the back of the pad, I'm just going to go up a bit because I want this pad, that part, to be seen and clean. So also here, now that hair, here, I'm just going to go over and just slightly go do that. And maybe I need to do it again. Okay, voila. And here as well. Okay, a bit is enough. And now here the hair at the front of the nails, I'm also going to take a bit. So actually what you see me doing here is like using the clipper as a scissor, because I'm doing the sides, and then later I won't have to do the sides very much with my scissors. And because it's her first time experiencing this clipper, I'm doing it very slowly and very gently to get her used to it. I don't want her to panic. Like now she's a bit, what's happening, mommy? Now I won't give her lots of attention now. Everything's normal. I'm just going to carry on and fiddle a bit around. And then when she's calm again, I'm just going to say everything's okay.
And now she's like licking, she's accepting. Before she was yawning, if she yawns, it says that she's a bit stressed, but it's okay. She can be stressed, but as soon as she understands that we're doing this with lots of respect and lots of time, everything is okay. Willemijntje. Okay, let's do a back paw, and let's just use the same system. So now I'm going to start at the front nails from the back paw. I'm just going to do the sides. And here, voila. And now my clipper is still on normal. I'm just going to push this button. There's going to be a red light here, and now it's going a bit faster. Look, I can just go flat here and here as well. I'm going to take the pad and just... I want the pads to be visible, like when the dog is in the ring walking and it's turning around and going away from the judge. When it lifts its little back legs, I just want to see the pads, the black pads. I can put some wax on them to make them shiny, nice black. Voila. So it's clean, it's easy, and it's not dangerous. It is extreme cute, and we should be lucky to groom dogs and enjoy our groomings, because it's a fantastic hobby, it's a fantastic profession, and it's beautiful. Voila.
So now we're speaking about hair. Let's just go deeper in and let's look at the hair growth, what happens if you don't groom or even when you scissor the coat instead of stripping. Let's look at the hair closer. So here you see one hair, and here you see the root of the hair. This is the skin, and here you have one strand of hair. So here I've tried to draw hair, and the black is the top coat and the white hair is the undercoat. Of course, normally it's all one color, but to make you aware of the hair, I did it like this. I drew this because you see here the long hair is all the same, and it's actually very good for commercial, but when you want to have a very nice coat, it's not really very advisable you have all the hairs in one length. What happens is you pluck out the long hair and you have only the undercoat, and it's very fine, the undercoat. There's also not very much undercoat, and the dog actually is nearly nude because you only have one length of coat, and you had to strip it because in the last 6 months the dog wasn't stripped. And sometimes it's very difficult to explain without this drawing, so that's why I drew it. To strip, we speak about a rolling coat or a show dog. A show dog is stripped regularly, and I just want to make you aware what happens to the hair once you strip. So this is a hair which is being brewed in here, made, and this is actually 4 weeks after we stripped. And 4 weeks after we stripped, the hair is coming out, and this is 6 weeks. And 3 weeks later, it's growing, and every time we keep on stripping, and this is actually what we are doing. Every time we take a hair, there's another one coming. So we have to do it very regularly and continuously play with all the weeks we have to play with. Again, here is 6-month coat growth and the undercoat. So I'm here to make you avoid this. I'm also thinking about the dachshund, his moustache and his beard and his furnishing on his legs. Also there, if it's too long, we have to make it shorter. Instead of scissoring, because scissoring is certainly not very good, I will explain to you that also here a bit later. But we have to avoid this. So avoiding this is meaning every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, take a little bit of the furnishings out. And every time you do this, there's going to be new hair coming. And the new hair which is going to come is going to be rough coated, the good color and the good structure, and not long and fine. And here you see one hair strand or multiple hair strands with the undercoat. And here exactly there's a hair which is 6 weeks old. There's a hair which is 10 weeks old, 14 weeks old, and 16 weeks old. If we have a healthy coat, we also always have to go for the 16 weeks coat. And this is the coat which we take out. And then again, after 4 weeks, you have a new coat coming out of the skin. So this orange line is again representing the skin. The white hairs is the undercoat. And here again, you see 4 weeks. A hair which has been plucked 4 weeks ago. And here you see hairs next to it that are 6 weeks old. These are 10 weeks old and 14 weeks old. And this is exactly what we want to have. We want to have a shorter coat with multiple layers. Okay, and now I'd like to talk about another thing. If we don't groom, the follicle is producing hair. And if we don't groom enough, the follicle keeps on producing hair because that's what it's made to do. And if it gets too busy in here, it's like very tight. Or even if we scissor the coat, then we scissor the coat and the hair stays in the follicle. And then instead of the thick, rough coat, because it's too much hair in there, we get this. The hairs that are producing are finer, sometimes curly, and also because it's so tight and they're suffocated, so they don't produce this thick coat anymore with the good color. They produce a finer texture, sometimes curlier and dull in color. So another thing is very important to groom regularly. If you want to have the perfect color with the perfect texture, you have to groom at it regularly. And this illustration is to show you that there's another way. If you can't go to the groomer every 2, 3, 4, or 6 weeks, you can go to the groomer every 3 months. In this case, if it's all nicely previewed, the groomer can have every time a layer in between. It means this is the 6 months old coat, and after plucking this top layer, there's still another layer under this coat, and this is the 3 months from prior. So if you have a 6 months old coat, you pluck the top layer, you still have a rough coat under there, and your dog never has to be like naked or very short. And this is also a perfectly good system for pets. And this illustration actually shows the same thing, but very close up. This is the 6 months coat, this is the 3 months coat, and here you see the undercoat. And after the grooming, here again, you see still this 3 months coat and the undercoat. So the most important thing from my drawings is when you pull a hair, 4 weeks later, it comes back. Regularly, every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks, you have to keep on stripping to have a perfect coat. Either the feathers, feathering, the tummy, the moustache, and the beard. And here you see a perfect coat which has different layers. We are going to wash after the stripping with the special Sentinel shampoo for stripping dogs, or for after stripping, of course. And in the stripping, we are going to, mainly, I want to use the finger condoms because the Kaninchen is a very sensitive, small dog. But if it has a lot of coat, I'm also going to use the Sentinel stripping knife. And I'm going to show you on a white piece of paper after I stripped and then sprinkled the hair on the white piece of paper. We are going to investigate how much the knife is pulling out and how much the hair is being damaged by the stripping knife, and you will see there will be no damage. And then I'm also going to use the stripping stick. Maybe I need to also use a sweet. How about having a sweet? Is that better? Ah, that's nice. Can you be silent now instead of squeaking? Yeah. Okay. So the stripping stick is also something I like to use very much. This one is from Showtech. It's got a wide and a very narrow end, which is for detailed work. I love working with this tool. And on average, we are also using very much the stripping stones. This stripping stone comes in with Showtech from multiple colors. We have it in black, we have it in gray, and we have it in cream, and we have it in brown. This is the brown one. And I like to use the stripping stones very much for also just pulling out certain parts. I personally like them at the legs, but we will see what we will use in which situation, don't we? To start stripping, I'm gonna spray the coat just a little bit with the texturizer. And the texturizer is a powder which is gonna make me have much more grip. So then you just, with a brush, put in the powder, and now the coat is like hard, very hard. And it's very easy to stand up and take the point. And I like to show you many systems. One of the systems is up, down, up, down, up, down. But we want it as comfortable as possible for Willemijntje. So each time we pluck, we want to have the coat, the skin. We want to have it as comfortable as possible for Willemijntje. So we want to have the skin tight and then like go stripping. We can do that to hold the coat up. And now we see which ones we are going to pull. So in this case, we are going to pull the top ones. So up and then hold the skin tight and then pull the points up. Hold the skin tight, pull them up and the top layer and pull them off. The stripping knife, how to hold, it's important that although this is one of the best stripping knives I've ever had, it's important to hold it so you're not holding the hair and doing that, because that's totally very, very wrong. You have to hold it, and the stripping knives, you have to not hold it like that, but all the way down, and actually preferably like this. So then you have, if you do it very slowly, you hold the skin tight, and you take a bit of hair and you pull down, and you will like slide some hairs through the little teeth. And then actually you let them slide, and at a certain point you grip the hairs with your thumb and you will strip the hairs out. The gripping, you can do a lot of hair or a bit of hair. And for me, to make it fair for the dogs, we need to take a bit of hair. We need to have time if we do this. It's a very time consuming, and for me I like to lift the coat
and like pull down, lift the coat, pull down, lift the coat, pull down. And we can lift the coat with a brush. We can lift the coat with our fingers. We can lift the coat with a comb, with a terrier pad, with anything you have in your hands to make it easy for you and gently for the dog. Willemijntje is actually talking. She's telling me how annoying it is. She has to stand here on the table. She's yawning to tell me she's stressed. So yeah, I have to do it really, really, really gently. Oh, oh, Willemijntje. Hey, hey. Actually, I think Willemijntje is not really a show dog. I'm sorry, Cutty, but I think your dog has been on your lap too much to be a real show dog. Which is good. So now I'm just gonna go over the coat and go from the front to the back after I went over with my brush. There's many different ways. I learned stripping from a Westie breeder, and I learned stripping this way. So I'm going to show you different techniques. I got to know stripping with a very famous Westie breeder like more than 40 years ago. His name was Mr. Cretan, and the way I got taught was with my 5 fingers, get up the hair, let it slide through my fingers, and the hairs which are getting loose, the top layer, groom them out. This way, with my left hand, I can make sure the skin is tight. And up to this day, sometimes I still use this technique. It's a technique where every time you pull out the top layer and you get some hairs very, very natural this way, and you can only pull out the top layer. And for me, this is a very good system to use on any breed that needs showing and that needs to have a very natural look. A second way, you can roll the coat, which I actually never did. You take the skin like this, and here you take the top layer, and then you roll a bit further, and you take the top layer, you roll a bit further. It's a strange sensation for me to hold the skin like this. Voila. And this is actually where rolling the coat comes from, because in the past, literally, they were rolling the coat from the front to the back to do this. But I don't particularly, I've never used this system before, but it is a well-known, and it works as well, system. I use a combination from tools and systems. Like here, it's very difficult to hold. If I will hold up the coat, Willemijntje is just going to go and sit down. And it's okay for the part I'm doing, I guess, now. So I'm just going to carry on a bit. If I wouldn't hold my left hand and tighten the skin, I will show you what would happen. You would do that. And every time you pull, the skin would be, stretched. And we don't want that. We want to avoid that at all costs. So it's important we
every time, no matter what system we use, we hold the skin tight. Now I'm just going to show you how safe these tools are, which I'm using. So I'm going to start with the stripping knife. I've groomed the hair upwards, and now I'm just going to take the hairs and sprinkle them. Voila. And the ones that I pulled, sprinkle them again. And now I'm going to have to investigate. We see that nearly 99% of all hairs are stripped. They are whole. We don't see any pieces where the hair has been cut. So we see, yes, we see a whole lot of hairs, but we don't see short pieces. So that means that this stripping knife is very safe to use. Let's now do the same thing with the stripping stick. And here as well, you will see that the hairs are not broken by using this. The hairs are all whole. So this is proof, and I can also use the finger condoms and do the same thing. So this is the finger condom. I'm just going to sprinkle some hairs which I pulled out to see and investigate how many hairs are broken. And here as well, voila. And now we can investigate, and we see that there's no hairs broken. So here we pulled out the hairs as we should be, pulling them out totally. This is the most sensitive area, so the trick is to pull fast, and not very much, and not do too much at the tummy at once. So now I'm going to do like a few minutes and go back there a bit later, do another part. It's important to, especially when it's puppies, just do normal, keep calm, don't hurry up, do small parts. And if you have a dog at home, you don't need to finish it all at once. You can do a bit on the Tuesday, a bit on the Wednesday, a bit on the Saturday, as long as you both enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah. So now it's fed up with the tummy. I'm just going to go somewhere else now. Although this is also very sensitive here at the groin. Here at the bottom, it's important to have some line, because here it's like one area. So next to the tail, I always go like very, 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 very short. This is going to create better angulation. So how far to go, or how close to go? It needs to be natural but short. It needs to look like a short-haired breed. So for me, when I'm like combing backwards and there's not much more coming out, this is where I'm gonna, stop. I'm not gonna overdo it, especially now. Now it's been since the Eurodog show. That's like approximately 6 weeks ago. Cutie. Yeah, you are.
You're such a cutie, yeah. You're beautiful and you know it, don't you? That's the problem. That's why you're a bit squeaky, because you know you're so beautiful and so cute. That's why you're squeaking, because you are so beautiful. So here it's important that you see the legs, you see the angulation. So I'm constantly using my brush. And here you see when I'm brushing that way, here the little hairs. So where I'm going to pull just the points down, and I'm going to brush again. And where they're sticking out, I'm going to pull again. Here as well, you don't see any angulations here, so this hair needs to... So actually you need to see like a nice round leg. And here you need to see a nice round bum with a thick muscle here. And when we're gonna make it neat and also take all the points out, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see a nice muscle, nice back leg. All the parts where now I'm like holding Willemijntje up, so I only have one hand, and these are exactly the parts I want to do with my finger condoms. I can also use the stripping knife for this part. I can do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and sometimes it goes better with the stripping knife. So now I've been using the condoms, and I realized by using the stripping knife to show you that it's really going well, because I also have some undercoat with me, and it also needs to come out, the undercoat. So I like to use the Bristol brush very much with this kind of coat. I like to, because it's very soft and I can brush the coat in all kinds of direction without worrying and for metal pins or being too hard on the skin. So it's one of the reasons I like it. I also like to use the stick here, because when I go upwards on the feet and here at the back, I like guide the hair backwards and backwards and backwards, and then I have a line here, and everything which comes behind the pad, I want it very neat. So I'm going to do that a few times. Here at the back of the pad, I don't want any hair sticking out. I also don't want to scissor too much. We've used the clippers at the back of the pads, and I like to do the rest with the stripping now. So at a certain time we're going to have to do some scissoring around the feet to make them extra round. But as I like to do as much as possible with stripping. So in places like here, where you see the knee going down there, I see this hair here, and it's not like not showing the leg perfectly. So this hair I'm gonna blend in, so you can see nicely the angulation of the leg. So I need to have that like neat. So I'm gonna pull the hair from the inside out, and I'm gonna pull the hair from the outside to the front, and then I'm gonna do that line a few times again, and then I'm gonna see how much hair is still sticking out. Okay, so now look, I see a nice leg. Another place which I always do very short is that place. So if you film from there, Johan, and you stand in the front here, you can see how beautiful this angulation is. Imagine having hair here, you wouldn't see anything. So that here needs to be like short. So the way I do it is I pluck it, do that, and I pull it, and pluck the points, pull it, pluck the points. So normally I go like extremely short there. So at the side you see the leg. Now this is a very young puppy, of course, doesn't have a lot of muscle, but you see the line, you see how beautiful it's built. It's important that you have that part like short, angled downstairs here, downstairs, sorry, angled downwards diagonally, and then this coming up like a little bum, not much hair sticking out. So if there's much more sticking out, it needs to go. It needs to be like smooth. Voila. Here I'm just gonna pull, 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 pull. Pull upwards, pull down, pull sideways, pull down, pull upwards, down, and pull. Now, every time in two parts. I can show you on a piece of paper, if you pull from everywhere, what's happening. Because I can't really explain to you very well, but I can do it on a piece of paper. If you're stripping and you just take a pluck of hair, and you pluck it down, you take the pluck and you pull it out. So you take it from here. And if you pluck, it's possible you have a hole because you pluck the whole pluck. Now if you take the hairs and you lift them, it means that you do that. So you do that in this area, and this hair goes up, this hairs go there, 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 there. So now you plucked it and it's standing upwards, and you're only pulling this part. So by pulling this part, you pulled a bit of hair from there, a bit of hair from there, a bit of hair from there, from there, from there. So actually you pulled out the top from a very big circle. So that's why I prefer to lift the hair. So now one side is done. And I'm going to try something on the other side, which would make our life much easier. But I'm not sure if she's going to let me. Let me make it a bit comfortable. Are you going to let me? If you can teach this to your dogs, it's even better. Because then it's two things at once. You can reach the leg much better. And it's not so hard on the dog. They relax. They're comfortable. And it's just very nice to do. And lucky she lets me, so. And here again we have the swirl. So this hair I'm pulling up and then down and up. So here again, I need to go very, very, very short. So I need to scoop out all this hair to show the angulation. So the tail, let me put her here so you see on the blue very well what I'm doing. So the tail, it needs to be not fluffy, of course, and I'm just pulling out the longest hairs. So if it helps you by putting a bit of chalk powder, or this is not chalk, this is the texturizing powder. And now by doing this, when I use the brush to like put the hair up, look, it's gonna stay much better like this. And then you can easier pull the points with that. You can like twist the tail better, and the hairs stay sticking up because of the texturizing powder. You see better where to pluck. And here I'm gonna go quite short at the point. She's a very good girl. This must be very sensitive. So I'm also using the system by going up and down. I just want to be careful that I don't suddenly have a nude point. I also want to say that the back of the tail, now where here, actually the back, I always do very short. Oh, I know. I know. I know. She's talking to me. She's complaining, saying, "When are you done? You're pulling me." So if it's round, I'm not saying it's round. It's like, yes, this is the part you see is all quite still long, but the back part, this part, I usually do very, very, very short. For now, I'm finished with the back side. Now you see the leg here, you see nice the angulation, you see the hock, it's all clean. Here you see a very nice angulation, and here as well. Also on the other side. Also the tail. Now the tail is nice and neat. It's not too narrow here. This dog is built very beautifully. The tail set is nice and high up. Therefore, it's got a very nice bum, and it's very tired of me stripping here, so I might do some scissor work here afterwards to finish. The tail is nice and short at the back here. There's no much hair sticking out. The point is not pointed. It's not too long. It's still got a bit of hair to it, but that's okay. as long as it's not like curly or sticking out. And now we're ready to do the front end. I also would like to tell you very much about taking out some underwool. This is with a card. This is actually carding. This is going to take all the soft wool that's in between the hairs out. And this is the part where in the picture I showed you all about making room in the hair follicle. Look how much wool that's coming out. How we do that, we hold the stripping knife like not vertical, not horizontal, but like approximately 45 degrees, and we just comb without pushing too much. And we just comb through the coat and it gets out the under hair. The owner does this regularly, so it's not like Willemijn has a lot. When you finished with a wide one, then you can switch over to the narrow one and see if there's much more to be taken out. It's also going to make the hair shinier because the dead hair is like very dull in color and very not shiny. And once this hair is out of the coat, the hair that stays is more the thicker, the better hair. And it's going to look more shinier. So here I chose to use the stripping knife because the stripping knife goes quickly. And I also need my hand to make sure the skin is tight, so I don't touch the skin very much, or I don't, pull on the skin. So here as well, some breeders do it like this. They hold the hair and they roll the coat a bit further. And then they pull here, the tops, the points here as well, and a bit more. Or they lift it like this. I was grooming all the time with the W2, which has some average pins, a bit wide. And now I'm just going to change to the W1, which has slightly more smaller pins. And the pins are like not so deep. And this is more for shorter hair, because now there's not a lot of hair left to do. For example, here on the shoulder. I'm just going to try, because when you're grooming, sometimes it goes better with one knife, sometimes it goes better with another knife. And now I'm just going to see what the system does, how the hair is with this one. Well. Here as well, you don't see the shoulder, you don't see where the legs start, you don't see the chest very well, so it's very important that all these hairs are neat. I wouldn't call it short, but shortish. So the line of the dog, the build comes out. If you prefer this grooming stick, like this one, or finger condoms, or a stripping knife, as long as you use tools that don't break the coat, all is good. Take your time. Yeah, what good girl there. And now this hair here, it grows upwards, so the best thing is to pull it upwards as well. You see, look, it grows upwards. So the legs I like to brush to the back, and on the back part as well, to, you know, backwards. So the back part backwards, the front part backwards, and then all the longest bits I will strip off, especially here. So of course that's sensitive, so you can only do very small bits at a time. I just don't, when you lift the leg and you do that, I don't want to see hairs coming over the pads. So here as well, I'm gonna do the back part first. Look how long it is here to pluck. The biggest part is here at the pads again. So now I'm just doing a bit of the finishing. Here, for me, it's important to go here in very much to show the chest, but not only the chest, also the angulation here of the shoulder. So for me, it's important here to see the line of the dog very clearly. Right now here you see the neck, you see the shoulder, you see the chest. And now slowly I'm working my way to the head. And the neck is now nearly totally finished. And now people are going to get afraid that I'm going to go too short. My way of doing this is like, again, with my brush. I come everything down and up, and kind of everything that is getting over the head, I'm going to pull until it's natural and it looks natural. And then everything that comes this way on the side, I'm also going to pull. And I'm going to pull like to here, to this point. So everything that comes over the lip. So here again, if you look well, here the hair is growing this way. So we have to pull it this way. There it's growing that way. So this hair needs to be pulled towards us. Yes, that way. That as well. And then on the other side, that hair needs to be pulled downwards. So the ears needs to be like smooth all the way smooth. We can't have any hair sticking out. Behind the head, like to the neck, I think it's a bit scruffy, so look, if you do that, it's like hair sticking out, so I want to have this very neat. So I'm using the W1 from the Sentinel, and I'm just going to try to neaten this really up so it's smooth, shall I say. So everything that comes away here and out there can go, because that needs to be smooth. And you don't really see how beautiful the dog is built as we speak, but after we've done that, you will see how beautiful it is. You're gorgeous. So these beautiful, soft, beautiful ears, they need to be totally smooth. So every hair on the inside or outside needs to be plucked away. And they need to feel like a piece of leather. So a smooth piece of leather. And that's the right way. So also here behind, like if you have the ear, that hair needs to be smooth, very smooth. So the ears need to come out very nicely. And in between the ear and the neck, this hair here needs to be also smooth. So you need to keep on doing with your fingers that until that doesn't happen anymore. So although it's very late, I know, and you're very tired, I have to do this because it needs to be perfect. Come on, I know. Now this side is done. If I do that, it's not like being thick anymore. If I go more, now I'm going to have a bald spot, so I can't do any more today. But as soon as there's a bit hair under there, I will go again shorter. Voila. And now I can just finish the head. So here on this side, we've done what we needed to do. We've brushed that way and that way. And it's like we've plucked out everything in a line. And now the other way too. Everything here can come out. So we've done the top now, and again the side here. So we're going to pull out all the hairs from next to the eye, combing or brushing that way, brushing up, looking, and everything on this line needs to be neat. So here, let me finish the top line now. This is the last thing. I've just finished the head. And I keep on pulling here. I want this to be clean, but Willemijntje is really fed up with me, so I can't do very much anymore here. It's important that we have a very smooth top line. So at the show, we will lift the tail. So now if we see something here, we need to correct it. So it's smooth. Come here, come here. Yes, I know. You can have a bath now. Okay, so the top line needs to be like smooth. So everything which is too much here, like making
uneven here or even a bubble here, like going up, we need to correct. We also have to be careful because there's no hard hair under there, because it's, Willemijntje has been done like 6 weeks ago and not 3 weeks ago. Oy, 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 oy. So if we are happy with this line, we will finish and go to the bath. Nice and smooth. So today we're going to use the Sentinel shampoo, the after trim, because this is a special shampoo to use after hand stripping. As we know, if you strip the coat, you like take the hairs out the follicle, and this shampoo will prevent from having afterwards infections or having a red skin or an itchy skin. And this is just the shampoo to use after hand stripping. So the Sentinel After Trim shampoo is concentrated 1 to 10. So here now I'm filling up my my bottle, and it's actually very easy. You go 10 to 1, so you have to fill up the water until there. And as you can see now, I have a little bit too much water, so I have to fill up a bit more. Voila. Yeah, okay, 10 to 1, the water is until there, and now I can just pour in the shampoo until the top of the blue here. I think it's about this. No, just a bit more. It's very important we do the shampoo perfect, so the concentrate is perfectly done. Voila. And now you see 10 to 1 exactly. It's also very important to use lukewarm water, so the shampoo is dissolving quickly. And as you can see here now, it's ready to be used. And here you see me wetting Willemijntje. It's important not to use very hot water. Lukewarm is good. And it's also important to say the shampoo we've chosen today will not change Willemijntje's structure. It's a shampoo special for rough coated breeds, so it's very good for hand stripping dogs. So this is the first wash. I first applied the shampoo, and then I gave it Willemijntje a nice rub. I like rub with this part of my hands, and I have a firm grip when I'm washing. I don't just wash the hair, I also wash the skin, and I go between all the toes, although they don't like that, and I go in the bottom between the pads. And I don't do the head first, I do everything else, and then I do the tummy well. Okay. And then the back end, also the hock, and again between the toes, and between the pads, the tail, and the bottom, the buttocks. Firm wash. And then last but not least, I'm gonna put some shampoo on the head, around the eyes, in the middle,
gosh. Wash everything here and then I'm quickly gonna rinse the head. Head first now. The water is not really hot. It's like lukewarm. The eyes is not a problem to put water, but I always am very careful not to put any water in the nose. And then I rinse everything very nicely. Uh-oh. It's on the move. Willemijntje's on the move. Voila. And the Sentinel shampoo is actually a very special shampoo for wires and for just after the stripping. It calms the skin, it washes thoroughly, it doesn't make the coat soft. And it's special shampoo for after the stripping. So here's the second shampoo, just apply it everywhere. So I'm not afraid of using a lot. And here again, let's have the second drop. I like to start at a certain place, so let's start, for example, at the neck, and I'm going to do the chest, the bottom, the shoulders, the whole back, tummy. Voila, and then the back end, underneath, tail, both sides, and then again, so nicely in between the toes again. Let's turn around. Yeah, okay. Again, in front, between the toes. Again, voila. And now, voila.
And here you see me using the Dry Dude. The Dry Dude is a very handy tool. It absorbs an enormous amount of water and it feels like fake leather or like real leather. It's not real leather, but it feels like that. It's a very good to use because it absorbs so much water. You save a lot of towels and time. When it's dry, it's like this. It's like very hard. And first you have to wet it. I'd like to say I love using the Dry Dude, but myself, I won't put it in a bucket of water and soak it overnight. I like to use it in a dry because many people put this in a plastic container. And I'm against that because for me, the water in there it dies or it has bacteria in it. And I like to dry them. So after using the Dry Dude, I let it dry, and then before use, I just wet it. You can't take this and try to fold it because it's so hard and so dry. If I would try to fold it in this state, I would break it. So it is important before you use it, you don't manipulate it or try to fold it. If it's in this state, if you want to fold it, wet it first, and then you can fold it. During the day, if you have a salon and you like to use the Dry Dude, you can put them in a bucket of water and every time after use, rinse them with some disinfectant. And here you see me starting to dry Willemijntje. It's important not to do that just before the show. A week before the show is good. But it's also important, the dryer, I wouldn't use a forced dryer. I would use a normal dryer with the air not too hot. Lukewarm is good, but not hot. Hot air for hair is not good, especially for sensitive dog hair. And also, if it's too hot and you are brushing, it might go open, and then, you know, you will have a terrier with, you know, like a bit curly. We don't want that. So it's important just to keep on with a soft brush, not with a slicker brush or a metal brush, because there's not much hair left, and a bristle brush is soft in use. So now the washing and drying is finished, and I'm just gonna do some finishing. So here I'm just looking at these hairs, and these small little hairs here can still be plucked. It's not very much left, but it's because we washed and now some hairs came up or are just lying differently than before. This can also still be a bit plucked. This is okay. Yeah, on the other side, this is also okay. The eyes are nicely viewed. There's no hair sticking in front of the eyes. Maybe a few little ones that I could have still plucked. Okay. The feet need like a very tiny little bit scissoring. Like this bit needs to go. This as well. I can also something I do prefer, use my clippers to do that. So these little hairs here can go. Keep in mind this clipper has also a setting. So this is the Laguna. Now it's long. The blade moves. So this blade, to do this kind of work, needs to be all the way up, and the turbo button is on. And it can just slide away and do amazing work. A few hairs here, because most of the work I've done with the strippers and with the clippers. There's nearly nothing left to scissor. Okay, of course here if you see hair sticking out, you can still pluck them. And here as well. I'm just gonna go have a look. Nothing left. And now we can do some finishing. This is the Brilliantina, and this is the last thing I'm gonna do. So now, just before the show, we'll still have some hairs to pluck, but
for today it's really been more than enough. So this is just some brilliantina to make it shine. Oops, sorry. Okay, and here you see a finished Willemijntje. I enjoyed grooming her very much. She's wonderful. She has 10 on 10 for cuteness, and she can come anytime to be groomed again. Yes, you're wonderful. Yes, yes.
Thank you very much for watching. I enjoyed grooming Willemijntje extremely, very much. If you have found this video informative and helpful, please feel very welcome to share my video. And if you have any questions or comments, you're very welcome to leave them down below. And here you see the before and the after pictures from Willemijntje. For Willemijntje's first groom from me ever, she has been a very, very nice girl, and she has been very behaving, and she still has not 10, but now 15 on 10 for cuteness. Thanks very much for watching. Keep on grooming and caring for your dogs. The more you groom, the better you will get. And see you next time.